in high definition. Local news, better time. This is Fox Wilmington News at 6:30.
Good evening, everyone. We're so glad you're watching on this election day. I'm Michelle Lee.
And I'm John Evans. The clock is ticking on casting your ballot in the 2012 election. In fact, the polls will close in an hour. Anyone in line at 6:30 or 7:30 rather will be able to cast their ballots.
Right now we're bringing you team coverage of the local races. We have Nadine Mazer out with Mike McIntyre and his crew as he waits to see if he will once again represent the recently changed District 7 in Congress.
Ashley Kozakowski is in the newsroom with details on the stadium referendum in the city of Wilmington. Colin Hackman in the city checking out turnout at the polls with the rain showers we've seen in the past couple of hours. But we begin tonight with Colin out in the rain. He's live from Coddington Elementary School. Colin, I saw some folks behind you in our earlier newscast. Has it been impacted from what you can tell from the rain and from the cold temperatures?
It's hard to say. You know, earlier today, John, we did see some longer lines here, 15, 20, 30-minute waits. The same was true across the street over at the Moose Lodge. There's this district here in New Hanover County, Wilmington and New Hanover County's unincorporated areas continue to see very large turnouts. In fact, so far here, about 900 people have voted, 100 or more within the last hour and a half or so. So things continue to heat up in spite of the fact that the temperatures continue to drop out here as we have been struggling through the rain puddles. We caught some video earlier today of voters trying to get in and out of the polls. Kind of some amazing video here just because at its roughest we saw rain there at 25 or 30 or quarter inch or maybe half inch of precipitation. For hours on end, the folks out here have been doing the best that they could to try to stay warm, and voters of course have had their struggles, but these folks, these campaign volunteers, have been out here for most of the afternoon, and they say that it helps to bring them together. You're shivering.
I'm shivering, yeah. But I've been here for a couple hours. It should only take 15 minutes to vote.
Now you're having me laughing. I can't speak for everyone, but I think the general consensus would be that, yes.
Would be what?
That this weather is not great.
I tell you what, if you are a participant in partisan politics, it seems to me that the one common thing that brings everybody, at least out here, together are these colder temperatures. People really don't care which side of the aisle you're on when they're trying to stay warm. And I guess the question on everybody's mind, especially for folks just now heading out to the polls, what's the weather going to look like for the next hour before the polls close? For more on that, meteorologist Rob Ellis joins us now from the very warm and cozy First Alert Weather Forecast Center with the latest. Hey,
yeah, I hope you're trying to stay warm out there, Colin. Temperatures are going to be dropping and a little bit of a wind out there. It's the radar, though, that of course people have been watching very carefully. Into the afternoon, the rain pretty much dried up. Take a look for yourself. We still have a couple of locations that are seeing maybe a light sprinkle, maybe far extreme Pender County into parts of Onslow County, but even that is drying up. Now, most locations that saw rain were right along the coast today. In fact, as much as an inch of rain may have fallen, at least estimated by the radar, in places from, let's say, Hampstead all the way down into Wrightsville Beach and even over into Carolina Beach and Southport. Beyond that, I had one of our Weather Network reporters call in from Whiteville and say, nope, we didn't see a drop of rain here in Columbus County. So it really was a matter of where you were. Now, that batch of rain that we were watching into parts of South Carolina, this is all but dried up. I don't think we'll see much in the way of any rain to really inhibit you from getting out to the polls if you do plan on going in this last hour that you have. Temperature-wise, though, you are going to need to bundle up. Michelle?
All right, thanks, Rob. People are starting to pour into the Hilton in downtown Wilmington as the numbers begin to trickle in for the race in the 7th Congressional District. Congressman Mike McIntyre is looking to hold on to his seat for a 9th term, while State Senator David Rouser is looking to steal that seat. News at 6:30 reporter Nadine Mazer is live in downtown Wilmington now and joins us with the very latest. Nadine.
Well, hey, Michelle, not too many people here out quite yet, but as you can see, I am standing in the watch room. There's 2 TVs behind me, a number of posters on the walls, and they even have these I Like Mike stickers on the table waiting for people to come in. And as you said, highly anticipated race here, not only because of the new district lines, but also because of how much money has been poured into this race between Rouser and McIntyre. Now, I'm talking about millions of dollars that have been put into this race. We've seen the signs on the roads. We've seen the TV ads on our television. positions. This race has gotten a lot of national attention, and it's been viewed as a key race in the battle to retain the GOP control in the House of Representatives. It's also the first race since the 7th district was redrawn because of the 2010 census, which now includes counties all the way from the Triangle to the coast here in our area. Now, McIntyre, who is a Democrat, was here in Wilmington earlier today making one last push in the coastal communities, and we wanted to see how he thought about these newly added areas, and here's what he had to say.
They know what we're about and that we're in this because our heart is in it, not because we're trying to achieve some political goal or follow somebody else's political label. So we've had great support across the aisle in Lenoir County and Johnston County. As you know, we've had the mayors of the two largest cities there, Clayton and Smithfield, one a Democrat, one a Republican, have endorsed us because they do know my opponent's record and they know mine.
Now, we will be out here all night with live coverage, also online at WECT.com and on Fox Wilmington. McIntyre is expected here at 8 p.m. tonight, and as I said, both Rouser and McIntyre making a final push today, despite that rain, to really get their faces out there, to shake hands, and to really get people's votes. And of course, Rouser is headed out to Johnston County tonight, and we'll have full coverage from that watch party out there as well. And I know, Michelle, you're about to discuss what Rouser did today, so reporting live in downtown Wilmington, I'm going to send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Nadine. And speaking of Rouser, as Nadine mentioned, he also spent his election day in Wilmington doing some last-minute campaigning for votes. New Hanover County and the other coastal communities in the 7th District are very important for David Rouser in this election. In the primary election earlier this year, Rouser beat Ilario Pintano, but lost in the coastal counties. For years, this area has been dominated by our current Congressman, Mike McIntyre.
Everywhere we go, we're getting great feedback. I have a lot of folks that say that they're with us, and I'm feeling really good about today, and we've worked very hard, and folks are ready to turn this country in a very, very different direction.
And as we mentioned, we will be following Rouser throughout the night, and we will have another report coming up on Fox Wilmington News at 10. It will be a special edition, 1 hour long. Another part of this election that has actually captured national attention is the Wrightsville Beach smoking ban.
Yeah, and if it passes, it'll be the first of its kind in the state. And News at 6:30 reporter Sana Sayani takes a look at what could happen if the ban passes.
The smoking ban issue has been on the table for more than 2 years, and today, around 2,000 Wrightsville Beach residents will decide its fate. People voted in Wrightsville Beach today, and one of the main issues on the ballot is the smoking ban. The Surfrider group has been rallying for the smoking ban to pass, and today they say it might end up happening, especially because there's no organized opposition. If the smoking ban passes tonight, Wrightsville Beach becomes the first beach to ban smoking in the state of North Carolina.
Nothing wrong with being a leader. I mean, sometimes you got to take a step out there and see how things work, like you just said. In 2 years, possibly be able to go back and see if it worked and assess what happened if it is passed. So I think there's nothing wrong with being a leader.
There are no lines here at the Francis Russ Recreation Center, so if you still need to vote, polls are open till 7:30. Head on down here and cast your ballot. In Wrightsville Beach, Sana Sayani, Fox Wilmington News at 6:30.
Sana, thanks. In Wilmington, maybe the biggest item on the ballot is the $37 million stadium bond referendum. Again, just city residents voting here in this issue. News at 6:30 reporter Ashley Kazakowski has talked to the supporters and those who are against the referendum. Ashley?
Well, that's right, and both sides are out at polling places tonight. They have volunteers out in that cold weather, as you saw there earlier when Colin was outside. But they're braving the cold, trying to get voters on their side. But get this, pass or fail, it doesn't look like this issue is going away. This one could be around here for a while. Now, I talked to Scott Harry from the Vote No campaign, and he believes it's going to strike out in a landslide. He's at the North Library and says many of the voters there are against the ballpark. I also talked to Terry Spencer. He's the spokesperson for the Vote Yes side. He's at the Cape Fear Community College polling place and says he's hearing nothing but positive feedback from voters. Both sides feel pretty confident. Now, Terry thinks it's a home run for supporters. In fundraising, the Yes side brought in more dollars than the No campaign. They outraised them by about 3 to 1. But the No group seemed to have come out of the gate stronger, and they just seem to be a little more visible than the Yes side. Now, I asked Spencer when I talked to him earlier, if this does not pass, does that mean we are not going to see a baseball stadium in Wilmington? He says that they found out during this process that there are thousands who support bringing a ballpark to Wilmington. So they're going to keep working on this and keep trying if this fails tonight. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Ashley Kazakowski, Fox Wilmington News at 6:30.
Ashley, thanks. It's also been a frantic day for both of the presidential candidates. Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan made final pushes in Ohio. Vice President Joe Biden in that swing state as well. President Obama, though, he spent the day in his hometown of Chicago on the phones, calling some of the swing state voters. We will have continuous updates on the electoral vote count of the presidential race throughout the evening right here on Fox Wilmington.
We want to let everyone know we are making election night interactive for you right here on Fox Wilmington. We want you to get involved with us behind the scenes. I'm hosting a Google Hangout right now. In fact, you can link to it from our website and talk with John and I both online. We will also have a live blog going on where you can get your questions answered and interact with the reporters behind the scenes. Follow us on Twitter at Fox Wilmington and use the hashtag VoteILM. Find us on Facebook as well. Just search for Fox Wilmington. Really no excuse to not being in touch with us. Right. Just a reminder now that Fox Wilmington News at 10 will be 1 full hour tonight. We will be covering the results of these elections as they happen tonight at 10 o'clock.
It'll be some of the earliest returns. We could actually hear from several of the candidates during that 10 to 11 o'clock hour as well, especially if some of the vote totals come in quicker than they have in some other elections. So we will be with Mr. Rouser, Mr. McIntyre, and all the local candidates as well. So be watching for that at 10 tonight.
All right, some surprising searches were trending online today, including people looking to see who was running for president.
Really?
Yep.
And as we head to break, we have another live look at some of the lines. This, once again, the precinct at Coddington Elementary School in New Hanover County. If you haven't made it out to vote, you have about 50 minutes. The polls close at 7:30.
Okay, so the main thing on everyone's mind tonight is the election, and that has dominated all of the searches.
Yeah, Nikki is here, and there's actually one that's kind of strange that people would be doing that today of all days.
Of all days, for sure. Well, as you can imagine, we just said it. Google, so busy with searches today. First, I want to talk about the Google Doodle, patriotic theme, blue and red ballots going into a ballot box. And if you clicked on it, the search phrase, "Where do I vote?" actually pops up, and it helps you find your polling place. Pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, so pretty cool. Now with Google, this is kind of interesting. The search engine actually got a lot of hits today, as you can imagine, for those presidential candidates. Yes, I said searches for who's running for president. And according to Google's data, today there have been a lot of searches for that, and a lot of them have actually also come out of North Carolina.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oops. Well, I don't know. Let's hope that maybe they were trying to compare and make a last-minute vote.
Maybe.
Let's, you know, not try to actually find out who's running.
I have a hard time believing that people really don't know who's running.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I mean, presidential candidates, I feel like, is a fair search. If you were searching who is running for president, I would say, duh.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hope that that's
what would you
the other way.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
I want to make sure we quoted her properly.
Perfectly. And now, what would an election be without some celebrity endorsements? Now, the most popular way to do it seems to be with your clothes. And we found this slideshow on E!News' website. You know, Katy Perry very vocal about her support for Barack Obama with several dresses, and hopefully you don't make your selection of president based on celebrity endorsements. But hey, to each his own. You have the right to vote for whoever you want to, based on however you feel is important.
Yep, the issue is important to you.
Now, celebrity endorsements, fashion. For some, it is important.
Katy Perry did look good in that dress. I'm not saying politically, but it was a very tight, short dress.
And she may look good.
She looks like she works out, that's all I'm saying. It's been one rainy election day around here.
Yeah, meteorologist Rob Ellis. We'll find out how much longer it might be raining near you and when things will warm up again after the break. Well, after months of campaigning, it all comes down to tonight.
Yep, and whether you're looking to share the excitement of election night or if you're looking for some really last-minute information before you head to the polls, there are smartphone apps to help you. Karen Kaifa has a few suggestions.
Well, on election night, a lot of folks will be looking right here to Chicago, where President Barack Obama will spend the evening to see whether he is re-elected President of the United States. Other eyes will look to Boston, where Mitt Romney will have his headquarters. If you can't make it to either city, don't worry, there's an app for that.
Into Now, which is a great second screen application that will allow you to interact with others while you're watching the election returns on Tuesday night. Congress Plus, which will help you learn about literally every member of the Senate and the House of Representatives, including voting record, financiers, other legislative activity, and contact information, which also extends to their Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube presence. And then another is a fun game / fact checker called Settle It by PolitiFact, which really diagnoses, which candidates or surrogates are telling the truth, kind of the truth, or have their pants on fire. Every 4 years, not only do we get to choose who's the leader of the free world, but an election is also a great showcase for technological innovation.
Well, in 2008, it was the dawn of social media. In 2012, the rise of apps and a few more social media tools. What will influence the 2016 presidential race? We'll just have to wait and see. In Chicago, I'm Karen Capa.
All right, so there is still about 35 more minutes left to cast your ballot. Here's a live look at Mike McIntyre's setup for tonight's results. Rob's going to tell us whether we're going to run into some rain.
Plus, details on our special elections newscast that'll start at 10. That's coming up.
Okay, we want to remind everyone, be sure to tune into Fox Wilmington News at 10. We are extending our coverage to 1 hour for elections tonight.
Now, we'll have the results on air as they happen, and we'll also be live hearing from several of the candidates. Once again, it starts tonight on Fox Wilmington News at 10. By then, most of the showers should be away from all of our area.
Yeah, we're really clear for now, but there's a couple of little spotty showers that may pop up, especially in Brunswick County. Otherwise, you really have no reason, if you have not voted. Got less than about 30 minutes or so, right?
30 minutes.
All right, follow us online, and we'll see you back here tonight on Fox Wilmington News at 10.
Good night.